There we go. Hello everyone, just trying to get some things taken care of. Trying to create some padding between my binder clips and the page I'm working on. Hi Mia! Hopefully this one will last longer than my last one. I think I might not be able to stream in the mornings because our internet gets a little iffy first thing in the mornings. Because, oh, thank you. There's 5 of us living here, and so that's like 5 computers on, or 5 devices at least, so it kind of overloads our internet for about an hour or so. Excuse me. Right around 9 o'clock, so I'm going to do some testing over the next couple days. Hi Beth, hi Jess. Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram. Here's my Facebook group and my Instagram username. The downside to these nails is that it's hard to pick things up. But I love them. It's such a pretty color this time around. Awesome. Thanks, Beth. So since you two haven't been in my streams before, what I'm doing is what I call the Randomosity Challenge. I selected a 10 color palette and then a random book, which is Magical Dawn by Hannah Carlzon, and this is the random page that was chosen from the book. So the colors I'm working with right now are from the Prismacolors. I'm using Periwinkle PC 1025, Indigo Blue PC 901, and black PC 935 on the flowers. The two original colors that were part of my palette were indigo blue and periwinkle. And then I'm just using black for the shadows on the flowers. So yeah, I have my, yeah. So these are the colors that were chosen and the swatches for them. And I did some experimenting with blends to figure out what I wanted to do with them. For the centers of the flowers, I'm using my Black Widows. I'm using light yellow CB27, lemonade BW25, and cobra CB21. I think I really lucked out with this palette for my first Randomosity picture. Hang on, checking something really quick. There we go. So what I've been doing is just setting down a base layer of the periwinkle, shading with the indigo, and then going in at the end with the black to deepen up the middle, because it wasn't quite deep enough for me. My Instagram is DannyWard85. What did I do with it? Nope, it just fell. Thank you. So how was everybody's weekend? Mine was pretty quiet, aside from giving myself a concussion on Saturday night. Saturday night? Friday night? Some point over the weekend. I think it was Saturday night. I may do him someday, Jess. I always want to make them white rabbits, like the white rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. I don't know how into baseball everyone is. I know Jess is, because she's my sister. Hi, Nick and Tina. But spring training has started, so it feels like it's officially spring. I'm not hugely into sports, but I was raised in a Dodger family, so that's really the only sport that I'm into. Oh, thanks, Beth. I haven't done a lot of progress on her, because I'm doing the color along with Color with Claire. So until Claire posts her next video with the clothing colors, I'm at a basically at a halt with that one. But yeah, I'm really happy with how her skin turned out. Yeah, I like her personality. Oh shoot, I missed a step. I was going to print out the questions for the colortuber tag and got distracted. My dad is retired, so he watches a lot of TV in the afternoons, and one of the networks he watches has started showing Stargate Atlantis. So I was watching the episode that was airing at 12 here in California, and so that took up part of my 12 o'clock hour before I started streaming. And a fandom that Jess and I are in is for the show Critical Role. As they describe it, it's a bunch of nerdy ass voice actors sitting around and playing Dungeons and Dragons. But they started a Kickstarter campaign this morning to do an animated special, and their goal was 750,000 because of the costs for animation and the amount of time it would take the voice actors to do the voice work for their characters and just overall production costs. And they were fully funded within 45 minutes of starting the Kickstarter. And I've spent way too much time this morning just watching that number tick higher and higher. They've already hit 2 of their stretch goals. The first stretch goal was $1 million. The second was $1.5 million. The third is at $2 million. And they were rapidly getting there last I checked. And I am so excited for them. Pardon my coughing. Yeah, the cast members are just, their minds have been blown. Like, they've been practically speechless on Twitter. Just one of the cast members, Liam O'Brien, said he was going to go for a run and ended up sitting for 2 hours in front of his computer just watching the total just go up and up and up. But yeah, let me see. I'm going to pull up the the video where Passionistacolorista tagged me. Let me see. If my internet will participate or cooperate. Hi, Candy. Welcome. So since a lot of you haven't been here before, Jess is my sister, and back in December, I did an advent calendar by Jennifer Stay at Coloring Bliss, and Jess colored along with me, and I gave her I very much appreciate that, Mia. I ended up giving her a set of Prismacolors that I had bought closer to when I first started coloring, before I bought my 150 set. So, lovingly used. Pencils of her own already that she'd bought open stock. She had some Derwents and some others that I don't remember what they were. Yes, I loved that page. I started the Valentine's one, but there was a lot going on at the beginning of February for me, so I didn't end up finishing it. I probably won't be able to do the next one either, because I think she's planning on doing it in April. And I go back to school April 1st, so I'll be settling into that routine again. Yeah, well, and I'm not a huge pink person. Like, I don't mind pink, but it has to be like a particular shade of pink. And just the theme of the page didn't really wow me. So it has to be like a, particular shade of pink for me to like it. I'm not a huge fan of like bubblegum pink, but like this brighter pink I really like. Beth, I'm currently an art history major, but I've been putting some serious thought into going into psychology to be a therapist. But this quarter, because my school's on a quarter system, I'll just basically be doing gen ed stuff. I'm taking one art history class and two kind of historical classes. Well, not really historical. One is like Magic and Mythology in Ancient Greece and Rome. And the other is Women Authors of the World or something like that. But they fulfill gen ed requirements for humanities, arts, and social sciences at my school. So I need to do them anyway. And they sounded really interesting. And the art history class I'm taking is Islamic art and architecture, because that's a part of art history that I'm not terribly familiar with. And yeah, it's that's why it's so hard to decide, is that I'm really passionate about both. So I've been thinking of getting bachelor's in both, like stick with art history for now, and then go back for a second bachelor's so I can get a master's in psychology. But there's a docu-series on Netflix called Civilizations, and one of the episodes is about God and art, and they talk about Islamic art. And I just, the architecture and the way they work around not having representations of people or living things in their art is just really, really interesting to me. Oh, that's great, Beth. Yeah. Um, I have depression, anxiety, and ADHD. And I started therapy almost 4 years, or a little over 3 years ago. And it has done so much for me. And I want to help people like that. And I want to specialize in LGBT youth, because they need more people in the behavioral health community who understand them, because I'm LGBT myself. So I really want to help the younger people of this community, because they don't have that, especially if their parents aren't LGBT or are conservative. Oh, yeah. Um, Autism is something that I don't have a lot of experience with personally. Um, like, I've known autistic people. When I was younger, my mom babysat a classmate of mine that was autistic. Oh my gosh, seriously? Huh? They reached their third stretch goal of $2 million. That's awesome. I love this community so much. But yeah, um, I was raised Christian, and but I always knew that my parents weren't like against LGBT people. One of the movies we loved growing up was the musical Victor Victoria with Julie Andrews. And another movie we really loved was Zorro the Gay Blade. So like, it's always been something that's not looked down on in my family. Yeah. Um, yeah. So like, I just, part of it's my personality. I like helping people. And when I went to university, um, the school I'm at has an LGBT resource center. And just being in that space where I could be so open about myself and learn more from um, other people who are LGBT, just, it was so amazing. Like, that was what I missed the most about having to leave school after the cancer diagnosis, was not having that community to go to. And I'm a pretty introverted person, so school and people can be very draining for me. But being in that space was so energizing for me. It didn't drain my energy at all. I have cancer, Mia. I'm not officially in remission. Um, the cancer leg and metastasized into my lungs. Um, and there's still lesions in my right lung that are too small for my radiation oncologist to treat. So technically, I still have cancer. It's just I'm at a point in my treatment where I can go back to school, because we're at this point we're just monitoring. Oh, thank you, Beth. Thank you, Mia. Yeah, it's. I was diagnosed at the end of 2017, so a lot of 2018 was devoted to um, not curing the cancer, but um, just treating it, getting to the point where I was healthy enough to go back to my life where I was before the diagnosis. Thank you, Candy. I'm 33, as evidenced by the 85. That's my birth year. But the kind of cancer I have um, doesn't really discriminate on age. Cancer itself doesn't discriminate on age. It doesn't care how old or young you are. Um, my cancer is a type of soft tissue sarcoma, which means that it originated in the soft tissue. So, like, the muscle in my leg is where it started. Um, so, yeah, I really feel for your cousin, Mia. Um, my other sister, Jess's twin, one of her coworkers, his mom was diagnosed around the same time I was, and she's stopped treatment because she only has, um, I think, only a few weeks left. Yeah, in this day and age, I don't think there's a single person on the planet who hasn't been touched by cancer in some way, whether it's themselves or someone they love. Um, Both of my grandmothers had cancer. Um, my mom had cancer. My dad has cancer. Um, so it's a terrible disease and way too rampant, but they're making great strides in treating it. Yeah, one of my aunts had leukemia. Unfortunately, she passed before I was born, and my parents named me for her. My birth name, not Danny, although that is in her memory as well. Um, she always wanted a daughter, and she wanted to name her Danielle. And my mom liked how it sounded with my first name. So but yeah, last year, the first part of last year, I was on chemo, um, a very aggressive chemo, but it didn't um, stop the original cancer. Um, it basically brought the the lesions in my lungs to a halt. Those stopped growing, but the original tumor in my leg did not stop growing. Oh, I'm so glad, Mia. One of my best friends, her mom has lupus, and I know how hard it is. And I, is it a function of lupus to end up with a bunch of like allergies and other assorted health issues along with the lupus? Like I know it's an immunodisorder, but I don't I don't know a whole lot about it. Yeah, autoimmune disorder. Okay. But I basically finished chemo in June. Um, beginning of June of last year. And then I had surgery to remove the main tumor in my leg. But it had already done quite a bit of damage to my leg. Um, it ended up growing to 20 pounds and about 12 inches in size. Told me that she could barely lift it, and she lifts about 20 pounds when she's working out. So yeah, but it ended up doing a lot of nerve damage. Yeah, it was I think it was 11 and a half hours of surgery. um, I have part of the top of my leg, I can't feel it, and it basically consumed my femoral nerve, which is the nerve that allows your lower leg to straighten. So I basically can't, if I'm driving, I can't move my right foot from the gas to the brake. So I have to use both feet to drive. And the tumor ate a lot of the muscle, and they ended up having to remove some of the muscle when they did the surgery. So my right leg is significantly weaker than my left leg. So I have to be careful of that as well. Thank you, Mia. I'm getting there. I do have to remind myself sometimes that I am recovering still. Like, even though I feel fine, doesn't mean I'm not still recovering. Because my body's been through a lot in the last year. Like, I've had 2 major surgeries, chemo, radiation. Thank you, Beth. And I basically have to relearn my body and my own limitations. Woohoo! Sorry, guys, I'm getting updates from ESPN on the spring training Dodger game, and they're beating the Giants right now. Oh, bummer. Yeah, I think it's our internet having a problem. Because I'm having trouble getting my notifications on YouTube to pop up so I can find the questions for the colortuber tag. And I was having trouble getting it to load my different YouTube accounts as well. Because I have this one, and then my quote unquote normal one where I watch stuff that isn't coloring related. And my tablet was on my other one. So when I went to pull up my Discovering Coloring account, it didn't want to load it for me at first. But I mean, my tablet isn't buffering as far as I can tell, so I don't know. Thank you, Mia. I've been really into blue and yellow together lately. I have a bumblebee from Johanna Basford that I've been working on that I really like how the blue of the wings counters the gold of the yellow. So I want to get back to this one. I was working on it Thursday during pardon me, the latest episode of Critical Role, just for something to do with my hands. Beth, would you like me to do a video on how I did the green skin on the girl on my Instagram? Because I know I have the colors that I use written down, and it really won't be hard to replicate it. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. Oh, I posted it a couple weeks ago, Jess. Let's see if I can get my notifications to pop up. There we go. This one. Excuse me. Okay. I have no idea who I want to tag for the colortuber. I don't know who's done it. So I might actually answer the questions on another video after I've had some time to think about it and figure out who I want to tag. Yeah, I did. I wasn't hugely into 90210 when I was younger, but I do remember the show. I know a lot of the acting community that I grew up with um, are super upset. Yeah. He was, I'm surprised at how young he was. to have had a stroke that massive. Yeah, I knew that he had had a stroke, and then this morning I saw that he had passed away. So sad. Yeah. Well, you don't expect something like that so quickly. Like, I mean, he only had the stroke last week. Makes me wonder if there had been something uh, else going on. But that's not for me to know. Like, if that's information his family wants to share, that's fine. But I don't think we have the right to demand it from them. Oh, he was. Yeah, I'm. I don't watch Riverdale. Um, I love the Archie comics, but um, I'm not hugely into like the horror, and I think that's how the show is. Um, like the theme of the show. So yeah, really the only shows I watch anymore are uh, Reno reality shows like Hometown on HGTV, um, and Madam Secretary. Um, I love Madam Secretary. Yeah, I watch Hometown with my mom. Sometimes on Mondays, sometimes on other days of the week. Oh, I missed a pedal. Because sometimes my mom has something else, another commitment on Mondays in the evening, so she can't watch it with me. Oh my gosh. Freddie Highmore has grown up so much. But on the nights that my mom isn't home to watch Hometown with me, um, I have a series recording set up for Hometown, so we'll watch it later in the week together. Because it's just more fun to watch TV shows with someone else. Like, my other sister, she used to watch the show Castle with me. And then she moved out about 5 years ago. And after she moved out, it wasn't as much fun to watch it. I've heard a lot about This Is Us. The YouTube gremlins are causing buffering. Are we back? Yay! What show is so good, Mia? Ah, This Is Us. Okay. Yeah, I'm really picky about my shows these days. Yeah, I've seen it on Netflix. Netflix is like my crack. um, there are so many shows on there that I love, especially their originals. Um, I love One Day at a Time, Carmen Sandiego, Voltron, even though I haven't seen the last season of Voltron, and I'm not sure I want to, based on some of the comments I've seen in the fandom. And, sometimes you don't really want to let a show go when you know it's ending. So, like, I'm not ready to watch that final season yet. Yeah, I've only seen a little bit of the original Gilmore Girls, and I think I started watching the pilot for the new one. But since I didn't watch the original, I didn't really have context for a lot of the new one, so that's good. Yeah, I think for something like Gilmore Girls or Fuller House, it really helps a lot to watch the original since there's technically sequels rather than reboots. So, and sometimes even with reboots, you kind of need um, some knowledge of the original, like to get some of the references that they sneak in. a little bit of the new Magnum the other night, and they uh, they referenced 5.0, which made me laugh. So I'm like, hey, 5.0 and Magnum are set in the same universe. I wonder if they'll ever do a crossover. Excuse me. I think I might do the rest of these flowers off stream just to move things on a little bit. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to get this page done by the end of the month, which is my goal. So I'll have at least one page done by the time I go back to school. And that way it's not too boring for you guys to just watch me color flowers for 4 weeks. I'm pretty sure that's your ADHD at work there, Jess. Yeah. My mom and I are officially diagnosed with ADHD. Um, we're pretty sure at least Jess has it as well, possibly even my brother. But they haven't been officially diagnosed by a behavioral health specialist. So, yeah. so much better when you have it under control. Yeah, I wasn't diagnosed until 2017 when I was 32. And my mom was in her 60s when she was diagnosed. So, yeah, I started Adderall not long after I was diagnosed. And oh my gosh, the difference it has made. Like, I can tell when I've forgotten to take my meds for too long. Yeah. I liken it to my brain being a ball in a pinball machine, just pinging from one thing to the next. And right now I'm having insurance issues with my Adderall because my doctor upped my dosage. So I only have a few doses left of the bottle I have of my original dosage. So I'm trying to use those sparingly until I get my insurance sorted out. American health insurance is the worst. I mean, it's gotten better since Obamacare, but it's still so bad. And anyone who wants to get at me in my comments about Obamacare can fight me. Yeah. I'm semi-fortunate in that I have Medi-Cal um, because I'm not working right now, so I don't have any income, so I'm on the low income healthcare. But before Obamacare, I didn't have insurance at all, and I don't mind telling y'all, I was a mess. Like, Obamacare literally saved my life. And I'm not, that is not hyperbole. It literally saved my life. So if you want to talk smack about Obamacare, stay out of my comments. He did. He did great things with what he had to work with. And he was sure as heck a lot better than 45. This is probably a warning I should have given y'all when I first started my channel, but I am a queer liberal, so if you don't like that, you're probably going to want to unsubscribe from me. Like, I'm aware that a lot of um, adult coloring people are Christian, and I respect that. But if you're going to try and argue with me about my life, I'm not having it. You might as well just unsubscribe. Thank you, Mia. I really appreciate that. Like, I'll try not to get into politics on my channel because that's not what this is for. And this is supposed to be a anxiety reducing hobby, not an anxiety inducing hobby. But that doesn't mean it won't come up occasionally. Yep, this channel is supposed to be fun. And if you can't respect that and respect that it's my life and my choices, then you need to leave. I just really love how these flowers are turning out. They're so pretty. Oh. Drama needs to GTFO. Does not belong on my channel. Yeah. I tend to stay away from drama. It's not my thing. I'm the only drama queen allowed on my channel. Thank you very much. Jess will tell you, I am a huge drama queen. Especially when I was younger. Oh my lord. It wasn't fair. I wanted to do everything with you guys. You guys were so cool. Those 2 years were horse pucky to my little mind. I'm the youngest in my family. Yep. There's us three girls and then our brother. He's the oldest. Jess and I actually look more alike than Jess and her twin. When we were younger, my mom had this picture of the three of us girls, and she would uh, talk to people about us, and she would show them the picture. And was it all four of us? And she'd be like, "I'll give you $5 if I'll give you like $1 if you can find the twins." Oh yeah. Pardon me. I'm just checking something really quick. Oh my god. They're almost at 2.3 million, Jess. I'm pretty sure they're gonna hit all of their stretch goals. Bye, Jess. Have fun at school. Are we back? Yay, we're back. You guys will appreciate this story. I have a recliner in my room, and sometimes I'll grab my lap desk and color my recliner. So yesterday, my dad brought my cat into my room, and he set him on the footrest for my recliner. My cat's name is Feely, by the way. And Feely got up on the arm of the recliner next to me, and I was petting him because that's what you do. And he walked across my lap desk, including uh, the storage case for the pens I was using and the page I was coloring. He walked over to the other side of my chair, which is where my bed is at, because my bed is here and my chair is right here. So he was sniffing at the end of my bed. And then he turned around, walked back across to the arm of my chair again, where he was before, and I petted him some more. And then he turned around, went back to the desk to my bed, sniffed some more, turned around, got to my coloring page, and then sat down. And he was just sitting there. Just do-do-do-do-do. What you doing, Mom? Am I helping? Yeah, no. So I called Jen and she laughed at him and petted him a little bit. And then he started playing with my pet. So I picked him up and I put him on the back of my chair. And then he left eventually, but yeah. They're so funny. Especially when they're at the age that Feely is. Because he'll be 3. No, 4. He'll be 4 in April. And Jess's cat, Shadow, is only a few months younger than Feely is, and they've basically grown up together. So they are best buddies. And they like to zoom around the house after dinner. We call it zoomies, or I call it zoomies. I miss having dogs. Jess's twin has a dog. She's a little Terry Poo. She's barely bigger than Shadow. And Shadow is not a big cat. And I was there with Lissa when she got Lily. Oh, chihuahuas. So, but Lily went with Lissa when she moved out, so, but we can't have dogs right now because both Shadow and Feely, well, actually all 3 of our cats were strays, but Grass doesn't mind dogs too much as long as they don't corner him in the dining room like my aunt's dogs have a tendency to do. But Shadow and Feely are terrified of dogs. And it's funny how different their reactions to dogs are. Because Feely will hide. Like, he'll run away and hide somewhere, usually my room. But Shadow has a fight me attitude when it comes to dogs. He'll sit somewhere where he can watch them, and if they get too close, he'll swat at them. He actually got Lily one Christmas on the ear when she got too close to him. Because Lily grew up with cats. And my sister's roommate has a couple of cats who adore her to pieces. So Lily is used to cats that don't mind her presence. So she'll try and play with Shadow, and he wants none of it. So, and it's really stressful having dogs over for an extended period of time. Like, a couple hours isn't too bad. My aunt has a couple of, I think they're Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, but they're only like, excuse me, a little over a year old, so they're still puppies. And my aunt doesn't have any cats, so they're just curious. And they don't understand that Shadow and Feely don't like them. So we tend to hide Feely and Shadow away when Anna and Olaf, my aunt's dogs, are here. And Lily, when Lissa brings her. I cannot even begin to imagine how they would react to Lissa's roommate's dog, because she has a pit bull mix. Sweetest dog you will ever find. She is such a big puppy, but she's big. Yeah. Well, those were the Olaf came with, so my aunt didn't pick them. But she didn't try and change them either, so. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I dread the day that I lose Feely, because I got him not too long after I lost. She was 18 when we ended up having to put her down, but she'd been having health issues for a while. Um, um, Bright Eyes was the name of my first cat. She had hypothyroidism, so she'd been on medication for a couple of years. And, oh, that's cool. And, her health had been not doing well for a while. But I'd had her since I was like 12 years old. So I was a little lost without her. And I lost her before I started therapy and went on antidepressants. So yeah, I was a definite mess without her. And then one of our neighbors came by with this little orange puffball and asked if we wanted to take him. Oh, I'm sorry, Mia. It's hard losing a pet. And my parents knew how much I missed Bright Eyes and how much it had impacted me to lose her. So they called me to the door and handed him to me, and I fell in love from that first moment. And he is most definitely my cat. And I don't mind admitting that I've spoiled him. I give him people food, and now he begs. If he knows I have food, he'll follow me around the house. Oh, that's so sad. Like, I had lunch before I started streaming, and it had tuna in it. And he followed me from the kitchen to the family room, and he was rubbing feet because my foot was hanging over the edge of the couch, and he was wandering back and forth, and my dad was sitting nearby, and he was bugging my dad, and my dad's like, I don't have food, I don't know why you're bugging me. So tuna for my lunch, and then after I finished that part of my lunch, I went and got some Cheetos, and he followed me from the family room into the kitchen, and then from the kitchen back to the family room, and he was staring at me while I was eating, and I swear I have sucker tattooed on my forehead that only cats can see. And he's not a very vocal cat, but if he thinks I'm going to give him food, he gets noisy. Like, not like loud noisy, but he gets talkative. It's just these little chirps. Yep, follow the food. And Phoebe knows who will give him food, but that doesn't stop him from bugging everybody else if they have food. But he ended up getting so bad at dinner time that we put him in a we lock him in shadow in a bedroom during dinner so that he doesn't bother anybody. But he's gotten to the point where he knows when it's dinner time. So if he's awake somewhere and you start coming towards him around that time, he'll just head to my room on his own. You don't have to pick him up and carry him there. Feely at least is polite enough that he doesn't steal my food. He's done it once, and he got in a lot of trouble for that one. Yeah, Feely knows that I'm more likely to feed him than anyone else. Um, Usually, if someone else gives him food, it's leftovers from dinner. It's like chicken. But they always ask me if it's okay first before giving it to him, which the answer is usually yes. But that doesn't stop him from begging from them at other times when they have food. Okay, guys. I'm gonna have to stop streaming. I'm starting to get a headache. I will try to be here Friday at 9, like my schedule says. I will be trying over the next couple days to testing to see whether I will be able to do it at 9 a.m. in the morning. It'll largely depend on how our internet reacts. So I'll post updates on my Instagram and my Facebook group, and probably in the comments here. So I'll see